What if one simple shift could turn your AI from frustrating to indispensable assistant? Same tool, completely different results.
This is episode 406.
Welcome to Wandering But Not Lost, your online source for finding balance so that you can align, connect, and prosper. And now your hosts, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome, everybody, to the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. This is episode 406, and believe me when I say you'll want to head over to the show notes today at WBNLpodcast.com. As soon as we're finished, we have so much to talk about, so let's get right into it, Matt.
Let's do. But before we get into the tactical stuff today, let's take a breath together, all right? Literally, one deep breath in. And out.
You didn't know you're going to come to the podcast to get recentered and reset, but we're doing it. Right,
it's all
Matt?
about the resets. Good way to start anything you're going to do. Either a good way to start your day, good way to start a new activity, right? When you're doing your transition. So there we go. I feel better already. That's great. So, and here's why we do that. The agents who get the most out of AI are the ones who approach it with intention, not panic. There's this energy right now in real estate. If you haven't really mastered it, that you're feeling like you're behind in with the AI because everyone's talking about AI right now, or like you've missed the boat on that. Well, and that kind of energy is horrible to carry with you, right? Because it leads to exactly the kind of AI use that doesn't work because you're just going to jump in all willy-nilly, like, I got to do this. Well, copying and pasting garbage prompts. And we have seen a lot of that. And quite frankly, we've done a lot of that ourselves. And then getting garbage output. So you can't, garbage in, garbage out. Because AI can get really, really, really overhyped.
I totally agree. And I see it constantly with coaching, and I'm doing a ton of real estate training right now. I'm always polling and asking the agents that are my students, are you using AI? What's your experience? And I get a mixed bag of, it's very generic. I don't see what the hype's all about, or I know I need to try it, but I just don't even know where to start. So people feel like it's just a bit of a Google search to, I feel lost. I don't really know how to use it. That's what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So today's reset is this. If you're tired, or if you tried AI and walked away disappointed, which so many people have, and I honestly, I was like that when I first started. It's like, what's the big deal, right? It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong or that you're a failure. It's the starting point. That's your starting point with the whole thing. The fact that you tried puts you ahead of most people. And that is the honest to God's truth. Like Jan just said, she's talking to a lot of people and everyone knows about it, but not everyone's engaged. And what we're going to walk through today is how you go from that starting point to using AI strategically every single week, or dare I even say every single day.
Every single day, because structure and systems is what creates freedom for all of us. And that completely applies to AI. And we put the structure into a guide that we're going to walk you through today.
Very, very cool. So let's get into our deep dive today. So Jan, let's set this up for everybody. We spent the last 2 years deeply immersed in AI, and that is the truth. And we've talked about this before, but we've had so much fun just sharing our experiences with each other, how we learned new things, right? And we haven't been using AI as a hobby, no, but we have really a daily practice, literally. We use AI to create content, we build training materials, we write marketing copy, we coach clients through and run our business. All of it is done around AI. Although, I don't want to jump ahead here. And we keep running into, what we kept running into was this. There was no good practical guide written specifically for real estate professionals that covered all three major platforms and actually dealt with compliance as well. So here we are today.
And honestly, that is the key. In fact, the first guide we ever put out just talked about ChatGPT, but that was over a year ago, and really so much has changed since then. So we have to keep up with the time. So there are plenty of generic AI guides out there, even some that are specific for real estate. But real estate definitely has specific needs. We from everything from fair housing, advertising guidelines, compliance, to specifics about you and your market area. AI tools don't know any of that unless you teach them. And many agents don't even realize the risks and the liability of all of this.
That's right. So we built the AI Ready Agent Essentials Guide. It's an 8-chapter, 60-plus page document covering ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. Not in theory, right? It's practical stuff. Use it today material. And here's what's inside the high-level guide.
Yes, and honestly, full disclosure, when you get this guide, you'll understand. We wrote an introduction a little bit about what Matt and I are talking about now and how we really worked with the 3 systems. Matt and I are ChatGPT kind of, experts, perhaps, if you will, just from using it. But I have been really
are you like really original? Not original.
Yeah, what you said, right?
Early adopters.
We're early adopters, but I have also been using Gemini and Claude. Okay, so in this introduction, we talk about that, and we even demonstrate something that we think is super important about how you need to make a disclosure if you're going to do some serious content and produce stuff that you're using AI. Full transparency is what is going on and should always been in real estate. So we even demonstrate to you how to create a disclosure that talks about how you used AI, but how you maintain the oversight and how it's your voice working with your AI. So you'll learn more about how important that is when you get into this. And then the first chapter is we just talk about what AI is and what it isn't. We have this little 80-20 rule that says 80% of the things that AI is good for in your business, and we break that down. And the other 20% is where you need to come in, and this is the compliance, the relationships, the real business things that you're doing, making the ethical decisions and so forth. But you can leverage 80%, just like a great, having an amazing assistant, honestly. So that's what we cover in chapter 1. When we get to chapter 2, we are really breaking down how do you choose between which platform to use. So again, we're going to do ChatGPT, which most people start with that, Claude and Gemini. We go through the strengths, the limitations, what's the pros and cons of them. And we're not picking favorites. What we're trying to help you see is pick one. The key thing here is we even say it in here, pick one, learn it, because how you learn to work with one definitely transfers to the others. Everything I learned with ChatGPT as I was doing these deep dives, I immediately knew they looked a lot similar, tiny little changes in it, but there's definitely some differences. So for example, Claude doesn't have an image generator. So that's what we cover in chapter 2. All right. And then a little decision guide, a quick reference guide to help you just, don't overthink it. You know what our bottom line is? Pick one, learn it. And you'll get everything that you need. And you could decide if you want to move on and use others. There's really no need to have all 3 of them. We just do a lot of content creation, so we're seeing the benefits of that. Then chapter 3, we needed to talk about compliance, ethics, and risk management. Very big. As a matter of fact, after we produced this guide, I literally got a copy of the National Association of Realtors broker AI policy guide, which had a lot of the content that I had put into Claude to say, these are things we need to cover. Help me brainstorm all this. And I thought to myself, this guide, I could completely see it was created by AI. It was created by ChatGPT. There's no doubt in my mind. But we have to have all that, and it's very important. So we talk about everything from fair housing, checking facts, advertising guidelines, TILA, meaning truth in advertising for when you have trigger terms, when you're talking about payments and so forth. All of that's in there. We even built you a compliance checklist, all right? All that's in chapter 3. In chapter 4, this is key. So there's all this intro, setting it up, having the right mindset for real estate. Then you have to train your AI using our Agent AI profile card, which if you followed our last episode, we talk about that. It's in the free version that you have it, but you get that here, obviously, with this version as well. But this is key. This one thing, when you literally go in and use, frankly, the best thing that's in here is we created a fake, not a fake, she's not a fake, she's like our AI agent that works in Jacksonville, Florida. Her name is Jane Johnson. And I worked with Claude to say, here's her profile, help me build this out a little bit. So what you're going to find is a completed agent profile card that will inspire you to answer the questions for yourself. Once you have that in all areas of like, what do you do? What's your tone? What's your marketing area? Standard instructions. You need this to train your AI. That is the key piece. And then we tell you how to set that up in each of the platforms, okay? Then it goes into a couple other things about additional things you can do to train your AI, meaning show your AI things you've written. What kind of, how do your emails look? So it can start to learn, what you do. What are your social media posts? The other thing that's really cool is I see it works, some of this works better in other platforms. Like we added our website. Here's our YouTube channel so it can read and get a sense of how you do things, all right? That's how you train your AI. And when you get to 5, we show you prompt engineering. So you're going to hear prompt engineering. Well, we created something called R.E.A.L, R-E.A.L, prompt framework. We're going to talk about that in a minute because we're going to demonstrate role expertise, ask limits. So in detail, this is one of the keys. After you train your AI about who you are, everything about your business, you must use great prompts to get great results. So that whole chapter has that with some examples for you to go try right away and start doing it. And then we realized we need to help people create visuals and marketing materials. And so we have a whole chapter on that, video strategy, repurposing, managing your workflow and so forth, okay? We even give you a demonstration. We're going to show you that just here in a minute. We're going to go through and show you live the difference between ChatGPT, DALL-E 3, and Gemini's Nano Banana. So we really have a lot of details and a lot of great examples. There is a little bit of a science and an art to prompting for images. And we wanted to be able to give you that context. So we do that in that chapter. Then we talk about video for real estate professionals, just an overview, what you need to do, how to keep it simple, just some guidelines on what the videos need to look like and so forth. Okay. So you'll get a whole workflow. We'll talk about how repurposing one long form video can turn into 8 to 10 other pieces of equipment, and not equipment, pieces of content for you to use. We give you a demonstration of that. And then finally, we talk about managing your workflow all the way through, how it's a little bit different in each one, and then give you what we call a little 3-day AI system. You could create your own, but it's an idea of how you take a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and break things down so that you get the most out of your AI, okay? The bonus here is we're giving you a 25 starter prompt pack, okay? Broken into categories like listing marketing. We have client communication, emails and texts, social media content, email marketing, very cool specific prompts that you can use, video and business operations, 25 different, 5 in each of those 5 categories. And that is what you get, all right? And it's, again, not one platform all the way through. We're giving you instructions of anything that's nuanced and difference between ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini.
That's right. And one thing we want to emphasize, and Jan brought this up a little bit ago, this guide was created using AI. We used Claude and ChatGPT primarily throughout the research, drafting and editing. We're transparent about that in the guide because we believe in disclosure. It's so important, and you need to really understand that and follow those rules too. Honestly, the guide itself is proof of concept of what we've done. If someone is wondering whether AI can really help them create professional content, they're holding the answer right in their very hands. And here's the thing about it. I used to, when AI first started, I was so timid about using it to the degree that we're using it now, because I felt like, oh my gosh, people are going to think that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and everything I do is just AI, and that, or that it's stealing someone else's stuff and all that. As you continue to work with it and it continues to know you better, here's the thing. It is going to start really understanding you. And at the end of the day, you're editing, you're finalizing, you're doing the things that are going to be making it, true to you. All right, let's get into the framework that makes everything else work. We call it R.E.A.L. Jan, referenced a minute ago. You saw the little visual in the actual guide. Yeah, and it's 4 blocks that turn generic AI output into something you can actually use, right? So R stands for role. This is telling the AI who to be in the specific instance you're talking about. For example, you're a professional real estate copywriter. That produces completely different output than just you're a helpful assistant, right? Because you're telling exactly what the role is of the person that should be writing that. Very, it's nuanced, but it's very big.
But you start with that. Then you go into E for expertise. That's your context. I'm an agent in Las Vegas, specializing in luxury high-rise condos. This orients the AI to your market and niche. Now, when you put that card that we were talking about, depending on which one you're using, it can remember all of that, but it's really powerful to come back in a project or a chat and be very, very specific. It orients the AI to what you want it to do right then in that particular chat. Okay. This part can already be handled, but there's sometimes I have found, because it doesn't always, depending on which chat you're in, it doesn't always remember everything. So anyway, E is the expertise. You bring that piece to the prompt.
Right. A is the ask. State the specific task at hand, right? Be clear about exactly what you need. Like, for example, write a listing description for 123 Main Street is infinitely better than help me with the listing. Well, I guess that's pretty obvious. Include the details, property specs, features, and what makes the property actually unique. Makes a huge difference.
Right. And then the L is for limits. This is where you set any constraints, word count, tone, things to avoid. If there's any kind of things like no superlatives, end it with a CTA, a call to action. You could put in anything else that, avoid fair housing language once you've trained it on all that with your AI profile card. Because AI will tend to generalize if you don't get very specific. And sometimes you just need to tell it, just give me this. Okay. And that's limits.
Right. And here's the thing. Most agents skip 3 of these 4. They go straight to the ask, write me a listing description, and that's 1 out of 4. And then they wonder why the output is generic. When you use all 4 of these blocks, together, the output is dramatically different. Trust us on that.
This R.E.A.L prompt is so important that we have a additional download in Word download with the R.E.A.L prompt, so that you can get used to using this framework every time you're doing a prompt until it becomes second nature, right? So you'll be able to use that and make sure you're doing it. And then after a while, you just know how to do it. Not even a problem.
All right, so here's the fun part. Let's put the R.E.A.L to work, right? We're going to do 2 live prompt demos right now, so you can see see the framework in action. First up, we'll be creating a neighborhood lifestyle image. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. This is for social media marketing. Let's say you want to create an image that represents the vibe of your neighborhood for an Instagram post. Oh, Jan, take it away.
All right, we're going to start with ChatGPT. Let me read the prompt, and we're going to show you what it creates in ChatGPT. Then I'm going to put the same prompt over in Google Gemini. So here it is. Create a lifestyle image representing a walkable desert neighborhood in the Southwest, featuring indoor cafe seating, mature palm trees, and morning light on a tree-lined sidewalk. In a natural, candid photography style, warm, golden, hour lighting, eye-level perspective, vertical 4x5 format, no text, no people. Now, look, that's the thing that I realized I didn't know how to do that prompt when I wanted to create images, and I would put generic stuff in and get generic results. Well, right. In our guide, we're walking you through these different areas of what you have to do to create an image and giving you examples of how you create great prompts, okay? So let's take that and put it into ChatGPT. Now, the first thing here is I can hit the plus sign, and I'm going to go to create image. Very important, okay? I'm going to go to create image, and all I have to do is do it, right? Post what I just said, and let's go see how it does. Now, I've been doing imagery in ChatGPT for quite a while, and it can take a minute for it to create it. So again, now give it a chance. You get all excited, right? And you want to come in here and go, well, how's it doing? Let's see how it's doing. So it'll ultimately come up with something. And then when it's there, if you like it, you will be able to just download it and go use it. Wow. That's pretty good, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
For the demonstration. Now, the first thing I'm going to notice here is it didn't really get the 4x5 aspect ratio. It seems to me it's a little, well, let's go compare it. All right, now let's go do that exact same prompt over in Google Gemini. You need to hit create image, put in your prompt, and let it do its thing. All right. Now, again, I personally am not an artistic person. I could have never created that without the help of a guide that's going to tell me, hit these 4 or 5 things, which we have in that guide for you. Like, you need to talk about the tone. You need to create like the lighting. You need to create, do you want it to be photorealistic? And all those categories need to be in there. So here is the difference of this one. It's almost,
that looks like a photograph
of the other one, isn't it?
Well, kind of, but but it also looks more like a photograph than an AI. I mean, it doesn't look as AI as the other one to me.
All right. So now if you wanted to tweak things, this is where you can come down and ask it to just change things, take that string of lights out, or can you add this, and it won't always. The thing I've discovered in the image generation, it may not create the exact duplicate version of it, but it'll come up with another one. You can say, give me 3 variations of this by adding this or that. So anyway, the whole point of this is, and I put, like, don't put people in it for right now because I want to use this in a lifestyle post. So that was the whole purpose of this. I'm in the Southwest and I want to be able to use this and maybe put some text on it or use it in something else that I'm doing. And so that's just an example of how quickly you can get an image that you're not taking off of the internet that you've created, using your prompt. All right. All right. Let's stop for a second.
And remember, this prompt works in ChatGPT with DALL-E and in Gemini with Nano Banana, but Claude doesn't generate images natively yet, right? So, but if you use Claude to write the prompt and then paste it into the image tool, the guide covers all of that. So we're gonna, we have a lot of information about this in the guide, so you can check it out.
Yep.
Do you find that DALL-E usually doesn't do the sizing right?
No, but I'm just going to suggest that I think the one that came out, they both kind of came out. Maybe it is maybe I was wrong on the other one. I have to put them side by side to see. This is not, I guess I was expecting a square. This is 4x3.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Maybe it was accurate. Now I did have a problem before where I asked for a different ratio and I got 2 different examples.
That is,
the ratios, the ratios are in our guide. Because if what are the best ratios for what platform you're using? So if I wanted to create an image or even a video for TikTok or Reels, it needs to be 9x16. 16x9 is going to be horizontal, square, some for Instagram. 4x3 is better for some of the Instagram and whatever posts. So this would work fine on Instagram. So anyway, that's the deal. All right, so you get the idea here. And why don't we go to the next demo? Want to do demo number 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited about demo number 2.
Okay, demo number 2. This one is text-based. It's incredibly practical for your business. You have an open house coming up and you need a complete social media promotional plan. Not one post, you need the full plan. So this is prompt number 4 from the starter prompt pack in the guide. So Jan, take it away.
All right, so we're going to compare the output on all 3 platforms this time. So I'm going to start with ChatGPT. Let me read the prompt one time and then we'll just show you what the output is on all 3 platforms. So you are a real estate marketing coordinator role. Create a social media promotional plan for my open house at 4521 Desert Rose Lane, Saturday, April 12th, 1 to 4. Include 1 post for 7 days before, 1 post for day before, 1 story idea for a day of, 1 follow-up post. For each, provide a caption text and suggested image description. Here's the property highlights, single story with mountain views, fully remodeled kitchen with quartz counters, covered patio, built-in barbecue, price $625. All right. Now that we've given you examples, this is a prompt that you can actually use. You provide the details, but that is the flow. That's the framework, the real framework of what you want. You need to tell it all that. So let's hit go and see what we get. And we're in ChatGPT right now. And it always gives us some great stuff here. So here's our first day before. Join me for an open house. Okay. Suggested time, suggested image, front exterior shot with mountains in the background, open house. So now you could take that prompt, clean it up any way you want, go get an image, and now you have completely the thing you could go post as a flat post, as an image post. Here's the kitchen is everything, and it gives us the whole thing here. Tomorrow is the day. Here's all the details of the open house, the suggested image, right? Now, of course, you could always use the real photos if you have permission to use the real photos on your open house, which I would recommend. Okay?
I was going to say, really, that's the recommendation.
Yeah, of course. And maybe you take that part out. I'm going to supply the photos. But just we want to give you the idea of how you could get help getting the AI to give you the prompts, right? And then there's a day of story. So this would be for your stories. And it's giving you a frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, a follow-up post, miss the open house, you're not too late. And then just some other things. Okay, so there it is in
chat.
Thank you. There it is in chat. Let me go do it in Gemini.
And the amazing thing about this is, this is before when you're like, I need to put together a plan for social media for my, for whatever you're doing, listing or open house or whatever it is. And you sit there looking at that blank page like, oh, where do I start? Right. So, oh my God, how fast that was is just mind blowing. Right. And then you're going to see some, differences between the different platforms too. It's just such a time saver and gives you, I tell you, it saves you so much time.
All right. So here we go. Here's Gemini throwing some emojis in there. It's giving us all the same things that we asked for. It's giving us a story idea, an engagement element. Wow, there's just some cool stuff in here, right? Then it's asking, would you like me to draft a series of short form videos specifically for this? So you see how this can go and help you. And that we always find that that's what happens for us, is that it'll be like, this is great. Would you like some more stuff? And I don't know, Matt was just telling me the other day, half the time you'll be like, yeah, that would be great. Okay.
Just last night, I was working with my chat on something, and at the end, it said, would you like to see one more thing that will really make this edgy and dramatic? And I thought to myself, I wrote in there, well, actually, the one that you just gave me was fantastic, but you know me, I need to know everything. So show me the other post. And he showed it to me, and it was really awesome too. So.
Last one, we're going to demonstrate Claude. I'm going to put that same deal in here. And you know what? Now I'm going to ask it to give me image, because Claude is good for giving you image suggestions. Again, for an open house, you'd probably want to use the real images. But just to see what it comes up with. Mark your calendars. Here's what's waiting for you. Price that. Gives me the hashtags. And then here's a really better prompt, to be honest, for an image.
Yeah. Much better.
And then here's day 2. You see, what I found in working with Claude, I think you're already seeing it. I think Claude's a better writer for content. I think you could use any Chat or Gemini for your quick social posts, but kind of similar, but a little bit different. It's given us a posting schedule. Now, I've trained my Claude to give me 3 questions every single time I do something to think deeper and tell me what else could I do. And that's what I'm getting here. What's the best time of day to post these? Should I run a small paid ad? How can I repurpose this? So I have found that to be one of the most useful things that I do. You could do that in any of them, to just say,
right,
every time I interact with you, ask me 3 questions that are really compelling, that make me go deeper into whatever we're doing and that I could find useful. Okay. So there you go. There are the differences of the 3 platforms just using the same prompt.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also using the R.E.A.L when you're actually putting that prompt in. That's really one of the big keys there. It's awesome. Okay, and those 2 prompts are just a taste of what you're going to find in the guide. The guide has 25 in the starter prompt pack. And like Jan was mentioning earlier, the prompt pack that we give you is a separate document because it's in a Word doc. And we did it in a Word doc specifically so it will be easier for you to cut and paste out of that doc and then to go put it into your AI. You're going to find this stuff also in the actual guide itself, but that's a PDF, and not everybody has the same capability with PDF. So just know that you're getting an extra thing that's going to make it even easier for you to actually download that. It also comes with the full R.E.A.L framework, the agent AI profile card template, and the compliance checklist. So those are all separate pieces from the actual guide itself. In there, obviously in the guide, we've talked about it. We've shown you, the image prompt formulas and the complete chapter on each platform. So everything you need to go from I've opened ChatGPT once, which might be a lot of you out there watching this, to AI saves me 5 hours plus a week is going to be located in that guide.
All right. So Matt, it's compass check time. As always, one thing to implement this week, one action item, and one thing to let go of.
Right.
So your one thing to implement, write one prompt today using the R.E.A.L, R.E.A.L, this week somewhere. Pick one task you already need to do. It could be a listing description that you already have that you want to make better. It could be a social post, a follow-up email. Structure your prompt with all those 4: role, expertise, ask, limits. Compare the output to what you normally get. That's it. One prompt, and you've got a whole new example.
Right. So now the one thing that you need to let go of is the whole idea that you need to be tech savvy to use AI. You really, literally don't. You can write a clear email to a colleague. You can write an effective prompt. AI fluency isn't about being technical. It's about being specific, and mostly it's important that you're intentional. So let go of the story that isn't for you. It is for you. So if you want to get our comprehensive system for what we walked through today, every chapter, every template, every prompt, grab the AI Ready Agent Essential Guide. It is only $49. That is a complete steal. It covers ChatGPT, it covers Claude and Gemini. It includes the agent profile card template, the R.E.A.L framework, reference card, the before you publish compliance checklist, and a 25 prompt starter pack. The link is in our show notes below. You can also go over to our website, WBNLcoaching.com, click on the download button, and you will find the access to the guide right there at the top of the page, right? We built this guide for exactly this moment in your business.
And the best part, it is a living, breathing document. When the platforms update, and they do all the time, it's moving at the speed of light. When any new regulations come out that impact our industry, we are going to update that guide. And once you buy it one time, you are buying all the updates. Anything else that we do as it grows, we'll send you the updates and inform you that we've just added something or we've updated it. So you're always in the know. Because honestly, we're committed to being here to be your AI guides, if you will, for real estate. Mm-hmm. And we already know by the time you maybe even get this, something could have changed, but we'll be doing that periodically.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so let's get to the Trailhead. Next week, we are back with another real estate episode because we really want to stay on this topic for a while because AI, gosh, I'm just telling you, Jan and I feel so passionately about what we've been able to learn and what we've been able to, how we've grown to work with our AIs over the last, 2 years or whatever it's been. And we really want to share that information because it makes your life so much better, right? So next week, we're going to be back with another episode. We're going to go deeper into one specific use case from the guide, using AI to build your weekly content system. Huge. How to batch your AI work into 3 focused sessions and produce a full week of content in under 3 hours, which is pretty amazing when you think about how much time you might be already spending on that. And that's all coming up next week.
And again, go grab the AI Ready Agent Essential Guide. Links in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, it's down in the description. Just go over to WBNL Coaching. You're not going to be able to .com. You're not going to be able to miss it. If today's episode opened your eyes to, I'm ready to dive in, go take that next step for sure.
Yeah.
Can't wait any longer.
Right. And then, of course, share this episode with just one agent who's been on the fence about AI. So if you are an AI user and you're watching this and of course, someone that's on the fence about it. So share this episode with them because sometimes hearing how it actually works is what gets people or gets someone else motivated to get started in the whole process.
See you on the trail and see you next week for another AI-driven real estate episode.